Right now, they're coming at you with an offense that is a total, complete crapshoot. No idea what it's going to look like, other than the fact that more often than not, the come-out role is snake eyes. More often than not, the come-out role, 2 6s. They could, they could set the point. They could set the point.
Give me that 8, baby.
Give you the 8 or the 6. Normally, the Bears point, I am equating the Bears to a crapshoot. The Bears point is like 5. It's a 5 or a 9, 4 or a 10. You can hit the point. You can hit it, but more often than not, you're not gonna. And I'll just tell you, folks, who might not know the game of craps, I'm describing something that does not work very well usually. Works well for the house, as it did last night for the Rams. Worked very well for the house last night.
Sure does.
And, is Foles the answer? Against Tampa, it was, because they were able to make enough plays. And the defense did its job on somebody that has since, along with the offense, gone absolutely aflame. The Bears defense, because the Bears defense can do that to somebody like Brady. They can do that to somebody like Arians' offense.
I know,
this
but
Bears
how do they score
defense
enough
is
points?
capable. That's the issue. Can they score enough points? That is the issue. And that's why somebody like Nick Foles shows up to a press conference last night and says the following words: there's still a lot of season left. Have you ever heard a quarterback of a 5-2 team have to say something like that, or feel compelled to say something like that, or have so many questions asked of him where he needs to basically say to the media, there's a lot of road left. They're not 2-5, they're 5-2.
Right.
They're 5-2.
Yeah.
And they have a defense that is championship quality. They really do have that defense that can do that. But they've got to keep that defense off the field a little more. He can't go 3 and out, can't go 6 and out, can't put the ball in the danger like Foles did in the end zone last night for a tip drill interception, or throwing it up for Jalen Ramsey to essentially call a fair catch because you're down so many points and you've got to start putting the ball into danger like Foles is feeling compelled to do. You see that? And you can't even use the phrase the Bears are who we thought they were, because their offense is struggling. Yeah, we thought that of the Bears going into the season. Trubisky or Foles, we are. But you also are what you are, and what they are is 5-2. I have no earthly idea what's going to happen with the Chicago Bears this year. But all I know is I'm eating the popcorn, because this is, as we keep telling you, the team in Chicago, with all due respect to the Cubs and the Bulls and any other team that's won a championship there in our lifetimes. And I'm talking as a 51-year-old man. And even the young millennials can say, I saw the Cubs win, which is something that people came on this earth and shuffled off their mortal coil before they ever saw. So that's a Shakespearean reference, sir.
Mortal coil.
I get it, but it's still a good fantasy name.
Well, Google it. I think I just made a 7-century-old pop culture reference. So, or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, that's in Hamlet.
Thank you.
Yep.
So this is the Bears. This is it. And I'm getting texts from the King of Spring at the NFL Network.
Charlie Uke.
He's upset. Bears fans are up in arms, and they're 5-2 because they know the way that this team is currently constructed, it is an absolute tooth-pulling experience to watch this offense try and score points.
They have good players, too, on offense.
And then it's the question of the coach who's come on this show, the coach of the year from 2 years ago who's come on this show with the phrase of "be you." Who the hell are the Bears to be? I don't know who the you is.
To be or not to be? Are we going to keep going?
That is the question. To be you or not to be you. And then you hear something about, does he have his finger on the pulse or not? we gave him the kudos required, I thought, to go, we're going Foles right here, right now. Week 3, let's roll up in Atlanta. Let's go. We're down in Atlanta, but they're up. They're 3-0. Let's go. Let's roll. What a time to go to Trubisky. You're 2-0. You become 3-0 because you rolled the dice and you hit the point. Everybody at the table's happy. You're 3-0. Let's go with Foles. Well, now Foles as a starter is 2-2. And you're wondering, does he have the finger on the pulse? When Brian Griese of the Monday Night Football broadcast team says that Foles told him and the crew in their pregame conversation, every national crew and every crew that calls a game for you regionally in the NFL, CBS, Fox, NBC on Sunday night, ESPN on Monday night, any crew, they talk to the coach beforehand and they talk to the quarterback beforehand. That is arranged for the broadcast team. And that is part of Doug Peterson at some point is going to Zoom with Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. That will happen this week. And Michelle Tafoya. And they all hear it and they all take notes and they all write down. And it's all on the record. On the record. This is the stuff that they know and they say it in the meetings. It's going to be available to be used in the broadcast. On occasion, because I have been part of this when I did those London games and that game in Tampa last year between Winston and Watson, whoever the hell they are. You know, when I did that, we did that in person. We did that in person. A couple of them were on the phone in London because we were all traveling internationally.
Right.
But pre-pandemic, we were doing it in person. And the reason why I'm setting it up like this is they are freewheeling conversations. On occasion, they'll say, don't use this. But I'll tell you, for your background information. That will happen. But other than that, it's like it's a freewheeling conversation. And I sit there and I hear Kurt Warner talking to the quarterbacks, and it's like they talk a different language. And Mooch is conversant in it, and Irv's conversant in it.
Right.
And I'm trying to keep up despite being in this business for 25 years because you can hear they're talking a certain language and they're talking in a certain way, and there's follow-up questions. Because if they say something provocative, you'll hear them say, really? Is that what's going on? Yeah, let's talk about it. So when Brian Griese says last night that Nick Foles told him and them in their conversations leading up to the game that sometimes Matt Nagy will make a call, he hears it in his helmet, and he knows on the spot he's not going to have enough time to actually execute the play that's just been called in. When you hear that, you're like,
man.
When you hear that, you're like, huh? Like the Scooby-Doo, like oinks? Really? Okay. And I can tell you, Nick Foles is a straight shooter. He said afterwards when asked about that it was a miscommunication between him and Brian Griese, which strains credulity. That's the only way to put it. I'm not calling this guy a liar. I'm basically saying the miscommunication would be what? I'm trying to wonder what that miscommunication could be because I've been in these meetings,
right,
and the quarterback, upon hearing that, would absolutely say, is that right? Are you sure? Like, no kidding.
Right.
So what do you do next? What do you do that? And Griese might have needed to finesse that a little more to make sure it doesn't leave Foles with a little bit of a mess in his lap post-game if they say lose because they can't put points on the board. After the game, Matt Nagy said, yeah, that's kind of news to him, and Foles has never said that to him. You hear that, and it's just like, oh, my gosh. That's when the DEFCON rating goes down. You lower the DEFCON rating for DEFCON 1 is the worst DEFCON.
Oh.
Am I not right? I'm trying to remember my war games.
Hold on. I got to do some research.
So no, the intensity ratchets.
You're right. DEFCON 1, very bad.
The intensity ratchets, and the questions fly. And I don't know what the miscommunication could be. It could be something like, no. When I hear the play and I think I don't have time to execute it, I don't know what that means. So either Brian Griese heard it wrong and reported it wrong. That's the miscommunication. Or the miscommunication is I didn't mean to tell him that.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Honestly.
Right. That seems more likely.
And Foles is such a stand-up guy and such a great human. You just let it slide and we'll make a note of that. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.